So you'll be able to go on there, watch all the Zooms, as well as see all of the reaction and My Life Simple videos. That goes right to the YouTube channel. I will say that some people are having trouble getting. If you go to the video tab in your back office, these are very large videos, so it does take some time to buffer them and get them to load up on your screen. Use the YouTube channel. I learned that today, that it works a lot faster, especially if you're on the go or you want to share this with somebody. You don't want to have to sit there and let it load up. So go to your website right there in the center of it. You'll see, and that'll be moving around a little bit, but you'll see those tabs. Click on there. That'll take you right to the YouTube channel, and you can see everything that they have. And as we know, there's going to be more and more videos coming at us, but they are very helpful. When you log into your back office, there's a place in the first box that has a Zoom meeting numbers and upcoming events. So you'll see that right on that main screen. That is something that they're starting to use more and more to help all of us to be able to see events coming up and different information that's very important to us. So make sure you keep an eye on those tabs right there in the center of your screen. So this Thursday is the Women's Night and meeting. It's going to be an awesome event, some really powerful speakers. It is women only, so please invite any women that you know that would be interested in attending that. This meeting is about how stress, anxiety, and things in your life will affect your health and your endocannabinoid system. So there will be a counselor and motivational speaker, a pharmacist, Victoria, Debbie from the Gracie Foundation, and our CEO, Candace. So please, if you're in that area, go check that out. Again, you guys can see here on the screen that it's showing you that tab in the center of your back office. And lastly, I'll be headed to Illinois this week near the St. Louis area. So right across. St. Louis is in Missouri. I'm not crazy, but I'll be landing in St. Louis and visiting Illinois. So I'll be in the area this weekend. So if anybody is in that area, you know people that are interested, we'll be having an event. And I'm more than happy to talk to anybody, any of your people that you have that are interested in the company or thinking about taking a look at the products. We'll be having different little meetings this weekend. So that is something that I want to make myself available to everyone to help anyone that needs help. So please feel free to reach out to me through the chat bar, through Facebook, my email, billy.feelthereaction@gmail.com. And I will be more than happy to help you guys. So without anything else, I think we're going to pass this along to Jeff, get everything started. And I just thank you guys again for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Thanks once again for making a little time for us tonight. I think Kim just had a question about the meeting and recording the Women's Night. Remember to ask that when we get into Q&A. I'll probably forget, so remember to ask that when we get there. Yeah, a couple of big things. I think the meetings are important, and we hope that what we come out of that with Wednesday night is again spreading the word about the product, creating some brand traction. Again, that's the challenge that we all face, and that's kind of what we've been tasked with in exchange for being really, 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 really high in the tree of a company. I think it's going to explode in a matter of time. So that's one of the challenges we face, and hopefully we'll come out of it with a template. Didn't see that question either. Come out of a template that you can use this around the country and maybe perhaps start your own specific groups, whether it's seniors, women, men, etc. Might be easier to share information in a safe space for a lot of ladies especially. And Wendy just answered the question, which we were going to get to. Another really, really big thing, as you know, I keep talking every Tuesday night about how we're doing our best to grow this and turn this from really a grassroots kind of effort, which is what we all kind of got in the last couple of months, and really make the step and evolve this into a company. And it's a company that gives you the tools and resources you need to succeed, and something that you guys can all feel proud to be a part of. So we're working, as I say, every day, and that's no exaggeration, on what we can do to help you and what tools and resources we can make available to you. And I think without fail, the number one question is with regard to how do I approach people? How do I talk about the business? How do I talk about the product? How do I not alienate people? I don't want to be too aggressive, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll use the word sales here. I'm not crazy about the word sales. I've always said, and I've been fortunate that in my life I've enjoyed everything I've done, so I've never really considered it work. But there are people that kind of are proud of the reputation that they could sell ice cubes to Eskimos, and I always found that kind of cheesy and kind of offensive. And I said I never want to be that guy that not only can but would sell ice to Eskimos. I would rather be a guy that sells them heat, because it's something that they need, and I can feel good about that. And if there's anybody, any Eskimos listening, I don't mean to make a fool out of it, or any Inuits out there, I don't mean to make any sort of racial kind of stereotypes, but let's talk about people that live in Alaska and that are very cold. In sales, one of the tools that you always look to have are what they call basically scripts. And they're important because there's a psychology involved in how to get people to open up and get more information and to want more information from you. So I don't ever believe that it's about manipulating somebody or asking them to do something that they really wouldn't want to do. But it does help you, I think, facilitate the process and get them to basically ask for more information or give you permission to proceed. So scripts are really important. I know some people, including myself, sometimes I just talk too much. And the lesson in sales is stop talking. Once you've got somebody interested that wants to move on to the next step of the process, especially if it's a purchase, stop talking. And a lot of salespeople, I think if you look this up and Google it, it's one of the things that salespeople don't do well is they don't know when to stop talking. That's another thing that scripts provide you with, is a really brief, concise way of communicating the product and the opportunity. So after all this rambling, we are working with a pro, and we're not in a position to make any announcements yet, but we have somebody joining us that has 20 years of experience, and I'll say with a very, very large, successful direct marketing company. And she was with them shortly after they started and was tremendously responsible for building them into the company that they are now. We've had 3 meetings with her, and hopefully we'll be able to make some sort of announcement by the end of the week, perhaps. Anyway, we have got for you coming some scripts as ambassadors. We've got scripts, and the 3 things that we're going to get started on first have to do with giving you these kind of tools. Scripts on how to talk to customers, scripts on how to talk to potential ambassadors. And it's huge. I don't know if everybody gets this. I can't feel your energy through the screen, but something like this from a pro who's done it and has done it successfully, to have these tools at our disposal, it's really huge, because it's the number one thing I hear from on a daily basis is more help on how to approach people. So that's coming, and we're hugely excited about that. There are some things, other things I don't mean to be sneaky, but I can't talk about. But I tell you, we have more big, cool, very awesome surprises on the way, as far as things to announce, and that's all I'm going to say. So, so the topic for tonight's Zoom, and I'm not going to talk long. I don't have much of a voice left after a cold weekend in Green Bay, as some of you heard. And somebody asked me if I had lost my voice cheering, and I said, no, I lost my voice booing for the bad calls. So take that, Jolyn, and all the rest of you Packers fans. Anyway, it was a great game. So I was out in very cold temperatures most of the weekend. I just got back late last night. But I do want to talk about self-motivation. The first question I'll ask is, we've talked over the last couple of weeks about some of the things that you can do to put yourself in a position to succeed. Are you, Googling resources? Are you spending your time either researching or even actively doing what they call an IAP, which is an income, or IPA, an income producing activity? Are you reading books that inspire you, or are you still sitting in front of the TV watching The King of Queens? So that'd be my first question based on the last couple of Zooms. What have you done between now and last week and the week before that? And I don't mean to beat anybody up, but it's interesting to how we can sometimes go from week to week and not really find ourselves in a better position to succeed when we look back and we really haven't done anything. And that was one of the things I wanted to kind of stress a couple of weeks ago. Do something, even something simple. Do one thing a day. Read a book. Google network marketing or direct marketing success. Invest some time in yourself. The next big question is, have you made a list yet? Lists are important. And I'm not necessarily talking about the list of people that you're going to approach with the opportunity. I'm talking about listing your whys, listing why you're doing this, listing your goals and your objectives, listing what it is that you want. The reason this is important, and I would love to hear during the question and answer session from anybody who's actually done that, who's really done that. The reason this is important is once you write it down, you're trying to taking that next step of I'll call it matter at this point. A friend of mine back in, I think, 1981 wrote a book called The Nature of Information. He was nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. And he set out to scientifically prove that thought is matter. That your thought, whatever you just thought right now, is actually matter, means it takes up space. I think some people are more readily acceptable of that thought today, but back in 1981, I think maybe we're just on the start of that, I think. But the reason that's important is if it's matter, then it's real. And so when you do things like write it down, it's that next step from going from a thought, which is matter, to and it becomes something that really can manifest itself. I believe so much in the power of positive thinking and the law of attraction. It's popular, and as I say, cliches are cliches for a reason, because they're true. So the first step to making something real is to create matter with it. Think about it. That's why they say positive thoughts are important, because it's matter. You're sending positive energy out into the universe. I mean, it might sound like hokey pokey or hocus pocus to some of you, but it's true. And so I am constantly surprised, and I've been a victim of this myself. I'm constantly surprised at how much energy we give to the bad thoughts and to the worries, and why it is that we gravitate towards the unlikelihood of something happening or the likelihood of something bad happening, as opposed to investing our energy, that same energy, in the likelihood that something good is going to happen. Brings us to self-motivation. And self-motivation, I've got notes here that I was working on the plane on the way back, so if I lose eye contact, it's because I'm reading my notes. Self-motivation is what keeps us moving forward, and it's our internal drive to achieve or produce results or things that we want in our life. Without self-motivation, the only things that would get us kind of through the day, the only reason to get out of bed really is our survival needs. Now, those are important, but there's a difference between what they call intrinsic and extrinsic motivations. An intrinsic motivation is something that provides you with satisfaction or fulfillment, whether it's the feeling you get about having achieved or succeeded. Extrinsic would be for either approval that comes from the outside, somebody else, for instance, whether it's a parent, an ex-spouse, and revenge is also a motivation. So let's not just say it's because they're rooting for you. But your self-motivation is what urges you to go on. Self-motivation starts with, again, identifying your whys and what it is that you want. One of the great quotes that I've ever heard is by Michelangelo, and he said that the greater danger for most of us isn't that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it's too low and we reach it. And I'll say that again. You can Google it, I'm sure. The greater danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it. It's that it's too low and we reach it. So we combine our initial goals and desires. the fact that we then are going to manifest those in a way that's real, write them down, journal about it, think about it, and those are the starts. So there's 4 different steps. I did some research here too, and the best way I described or heard it described is motivation was broken down into 4 different things: your personal drive to achieve, your commitment, your initiative, and your optimism. Now, your personal drive to achieve is, basically your desire to get the things that you want, and that's inherent. Your commitment is to your personal or your other goals. Your initiative is defined as a readiness to act on opportunities, and optimism is the ability to keep going, and it's also referred to as resilience. I can break all these things down deeper. There's also what we call a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. With all this, a fixed mindset is somebody who says, this is who I am, or this is who you are, and this is all you're going to be, and the talent is engraved. A growth mindset is somebody who believes that you can actually improve and get smarter and improve your skills through hard work and education and things like that. I'm very much a member of the second, the growth mindset. And I did talk about it, I think, in a Zoom way back, talked about the concept of neuroplasticity, which is really your ability to rewire your brain. And it's the concept, as I call it, being able to teach an old dog new tricks. So I question, again, the self-motivation, because really it's all we've got. We can talk about supporting the people below us in our trees. We can talk about the people above us. But at the end of the day, we're all we've got. So my kind of points to succeeding or finding fulfillment and happiness, which is, to me, that's how I define success, as opposed to material things and stuff like that. Number one is you got to feel like you're worth it. And that's what I think a lot of people suffer from. If it comes down to literally, since I don't think anybody's going to, other than, having Ed McMahon show up on your door and saying, here's $5 million, it doesn't happen that way. The things that you want in life, you can get, but you will only get if your desire for those things outweighs your fear or lack of self-motivation. It has to do with how important things are to you. But I think one of the things that gets a lot of people, including myself, is the idea that we don't deserve it. The idea that we give more energy, or more of our energy, to the thought of not succeeding and failing, as opposed to trying and being a little flexible and resilient and keep going after those things. We've all kind of joined forces here in something, guys, that I think can be very, very big. And at the end of the day, it does come down to, again, examining your whys and how important they are to you, whether that's doing something for someone else, which is okay. I know, and I won't get started on this, but I had an ex-girlfriend who used to call me selfish for bringing her coffee in bed. And the premise of that was that, well, I wasn't doing it for her. I was doing it for me because it made me feel bad. So I'm not going to get into that, but I would rather feel good about doing something for somebody than not do it. So when we're left to our own devices, that's it at the end of the day. Treating yourself well, feeling like you deserve more. And like I said, you're in business for yourself with this, but not by yourself. Part of this too, the process that we're at right now, is finding which of you, maybe which one of you are leaders. And by leaders, I don't mean you need to be the best, orator. You don't need to be able to get up in front of 5,000 people, but it has to do with somebody who has habits, I think, and skills that create success. We've got several people in the organization. I mentioned them repeatedly on my Zooms, or our Zooms, and those are skills that are duplicable, and also ones that I think we would all want to emulate. So, but it does come down to self-motivation. Back to the last point, which was what when we started this. Have you made your list? Have you listed your whys? Have you made them real? You know, some people talk about, you can go on Pinterest and find a ton of material that can be part of your vision board, which if you don't know what that is, it's you basically put all your desires by cutting out pictures and quotes and things like that, printing them out from the internet, and so you can visualize them. So in an image, whether it's a cartoon, a painting, a picture, a quote, a writing, that's what you're surrounding yourself with. It's the same principle. So I'm asking you to kind of make a vision board for your business. You know, who is it that you're doing this for? You, yourself, your kids, your parents, the future? It's all, you know, it's all worthwhile. And I think that's really important. So make your list, make your vision board. And then after you make your list, we're going to figure out how to get there. And we're trying, like I said, every day. Anyway, I'm going to end on that, Billy. But I know we had a lot of comments and questions. I hope everybody will speak up and not go silent when we suddenly get to the questions. And if you don't like speaking, you can certainly type them into the chat bar, and we'll get on you for that.
Jeff, that was pretty good. And what you were saying there is big. And self-motivation is a huge part of this. I believe in that 100%. I also think something, I know you're more on the inspirational side, and I like to see myself more on the boots on the ground out there trying to figure out the different approaches to this. And as I sat down and I'm kind of listening to you and jotting my notes down, there really is two different approaches. There's a million different approaches to this. You have the people that are going to look at this as a business opportunity. They see the future. They know where this is going. And it sucks to say, but they really don't care about the products. They want it just to make the money. Then you got the people like Lindy, when we started this off, so passionate, and Victoria, so passionate about these products. I mean, look at them now on Wednesday nights leading these Zooms. There's people like them out there that are so passionate about these products that they're going to make it successful by using that passion and sharing it with the people around them. There's different ways to approach this, and as we get these new scripts that Jeff was talking about, it's going to make our jobs a little bit easier in figuring out your approach. But the best thing that we can do is figure out how to read every single person that we're talking to. If I look at you, are you someone that, as I open a conversation with you, are you looking for this as a retirement opportunity? Are you looking at this to help you with your health or preventative issues? So I was thinking about this on the product side, and it's all about getting the people, because obviously we've talked a lot about the business side of it, and that is very important. But on the product side, it's just getting the stuff in people's hands, getting reaction in their hands, let them experience it, and build their own testimony off it. From there, that's where you press on to the opportunities of how they can get 25% off on their products by joining you as an ambassador and join your journey that way, being able to use these products for themselves, their family, and now their pets. I don't think we stress enough the importance of pet products. These right here, 100%, I care more about my pets than I do myself. Anybody that knows me knows that. I spend more money a month on my products for my dog and for my pig than I do on my tincture for myself. There's a lot of people out there that are like me. So that's something I don't want to ramble on about. This. Jeff had a very powerful, some powerful information that I want to get us off track on that, but I just want to share that is those different approaches to this. And we're going to work on this as we go, but just staying focused and remaining positive. The next thing I want to do is compare this. And for me, I can compare this to racing. You go out there, when you start racing, you're not the best. Nobody's born Dale Earnhardt or Ron Hornaday. You go out there and you spin out, you crash, you wreck, you finish top 10, top 5s. You work your way up until you taste that victory. Once you taste victory, and that's the same thing when you sign up an ambassador and you get that first ambassador, it's like you just won a big race. Once you taste that victory, you get a little bit of momentum. From there, once that momentum's strong with the products that we have and the compensation plan, and the momentum's rolling and you have people that are excited, it's going to drive you. So the biggest thing is that I don't want everybody to finish second, spin out and wreck and give up. you go out there and you give this everything that you have and remain positive, using a self-motivation and different methods that Jeff's been bringing up every week, it's so powerful. If you really absorb that and you go back and you watch these Zooms over and over again and figure out, what am I doing wrong? Or what am I doing right? What am I dedicating to this every single week? If you're not dedicating your time and your effort, I'm sorry, guys, but you're going to get what you put in. Candace was mentioning something to me about 1 hour a day. I'm very busy. I'm working multiple jobs. I'm trying to run my racing career. And I'm also want to be able to be here for everybody else to help support and be a leader. But it is hard for me. I'm a one-track mind, so I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. I feel like a little mouse running around sometimes in one of those squirrel cages. But it's important that you dedicate that time. I promise you guys, if you put in the effort, in the long run, this is going to be so strong. And it's not putting in 8 hours a day, because everybody in network marketing, unless you're making millions of dollars, most people have jobs. They're working a 9 to 5, whatever hours, 40 hours a week, but they're putting in the time on the side to make it work. I think what we have is very special. A lot of us don't use the products to our advantage. As Jeff mentioned, we're not out there selling anything. You don't have to sell anyone. You just have to get them to try the products, enjoy the products. If they can't personally use the products, get it to somebody around them. Everybody knows 2 people. I want to end on that, but that's, for me, I appreciate every single one of you guys for joining us every week, because I know it does take time out of your busy schedules. But making that list and dedicating your time will be all worth it in the long run. Jeff?
That's it. Let's just move to anybody that has any comments or questions, especially regarding the content of what we've talked about. All right,
Jeff,
who's first? Who's that?
it's Lindy.
Hey, Lindy, how are you?
Hey, Billy and I were talking today, and I think something that Billy and I, when we were talking today, figured out that something that neither one of us have really done, and I think it's probably one of the most important things, is when we sign somebody up and their first order of products goes out, we're not calling them to see if they got their products, see how they're doing, see if they like them, and following up. I think following up is probably the number one thing that I'm missing myself. And Billy and I were talking about today. Stay in tune with your people. They've just spent money and they're excited about the business. I think it's really important to follow up with them and get them excited so they can sign their people up and to help them. But follow up, I think, is the key thing here.
I think that's a great point, Lindy. Absolutely. And we know that the people that are doing well at this are tagged in and engaging. And we know that some of the ones are not. Like I said, Candace uses the example. We talked to somebody, a week ago, came in the office and has been with us for 3 months and didn't even know there was a pet line. Now, in all fairness, she's very busy, works some crazy hours, owns her own business. I don't know if she's available for the Zooms, but certainly there's a gap there somewhere with the communication that she's receiving from her upline. So yeah, keeping people tapped in and helping them. I think my people might be tired of hearing from me, to be honest with you. I don't know who's on from my little family tonight. I know Wendy is, I think, and I think maybe Joni is. Some of the others are still recuperating or on their way back from Chicago. But yeah, it is really important. And I think what I like so much about where I'm at with this business is I've exceeded my expectations already. So I will be examining my goals as well, because I was always, in Hollywood, I came so close to jobs that would change my life, down to me and one other guy, and I never got the call. And so I think I've carried that kind of experience with me, that whole idea of, inches from greatness. It's too good to be true. You don't count your chickens till they're hatched and all that kind of other stuff. But I've exceeded my expectations with this. And I love the group that I've got now, because I think I've got some people that are committed and excited and believers in the product, believers in the business, and are of the same mindset as me. So all of you that are out there, if you are engaging people and they are signing up, if you do have your 2 ambassadors, this is not about you signing up 30 people by yourself. Your business will be stronger if you sign up 2, and then those people sign up 2, and those people sign up 2, and then what you're creating also is a series of concentric circles that keep working outward. So they keep saying in the business, don't try to reinvent the wheel, and it's true. But good point, yes, Lindy. Stay attached from the very first moment they get their product. I personally, if myself or somebody that I know has signed somebody up that's in the area, I always do will call. I literally think it's worth the effort to come into this office, even when I'm not planning on being there, pick up their product and hand deliver it to people. And to also kind of, I think, forge that bond of, my commitment. I have a commitment to the people below me. That's a bad phrase, but the people that are with me, I have a commitment to them. I can't accept anything than less than success for them, and helping them achieve the things that they want.
Jeff, I wanna touch on that too. It goes back to part of my pitch and my script. And a lot of people know this fact, that 3% of Americans are educated and knowledgeable when it comes to CBD and hemp products. You have to pass on the tools that go with the business. It's not just signing somebody up and running, get the next guy. If you build this up, and we're also talking, Lenny and I were talking, I believe it's her that brought this up, about if you have a meeting or an event and you expect 20 people to show up. And I heard a story today, and it was really amazing about how this guy rented this place, gonna have this event, and only one person showed up. And they sat down and they had that meeting, just those 2 people. He was let down because those 20 people didn't show up that he was expecting. But him and that guy that showed up went on to be 2 of the most successful people in network marketing together. It's all about working together, and it doesn't take 10 people. It doesn't take 1,000 people. It could take one person. One person could change your life. So it's all about going out there and finding that one person or 2 people. Jeff brings it up all the time that it doesn't take signing up 30 people. This is a little binging sometimes, but don't be afraid to reach out and be patient. That is something that we can't stress enough, is that this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. I think I nailed that, Jeff. Is that what you said?
Billy, can you guys hear me?
It's not.
Hello?
I can hear you. Yep.
This is Kelly. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, Kelly,
Yeah.
how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I think basically what it boils down to is, everybody worries about their script and what they're going to say and their approach. I think it's basically just about everybody's each individual mindset. When you wake up in the morning and you're drinking your coffee or you're putting on your makeup, think about 5 things when you're by yourself. Write it down or say it out loud. I am grateful for. I am da-da-da for. I am da-da. Do it every day. That's how your day is going to progress. If you wake up and say, I'm going to be late for work, you're going to be late for work. You have to, like you were saying, the law of attraction. It's basically a proven fact. But you need to do that for yourself, not for anybody else. I wake up every day, I'm grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for all those things. I remind myself that, and I write it down. And it's nice to go back and look at my book, because I write things down that I'm grateful for that I don't even have yet. Because if I say, oh, I'm grateful that this is going to happen, well, then I'm just going to be sitting there waiting for it to happen. But if I'm grateful that I already have it, then it's going to happen. But it's funny when you do that over time, and you go back and you look in your book and you see the things that you wrote down that you were grateful for that are coming, and then they do. And you can go back and highlight them, and you have to create a positive 5 minutes of the day for yourself in order to get you moving in the right direction, basically. But that's personal, I think. And like I said, the script and the approach, I think that's hard for a lot of people. But if you are in a good mindset and you are in a centered place with yourself, that's just going to come naturally for you. It'll just happen the way it's supposed to. You'll bump into whoever or whatever. You know, you do something nice for somebody, it comes back to you. It's just all principality.
Yeah, I agree, Kelly. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And you're
Thank you,
you're
Kelly.
dead on. You know, it comes down to, you know, there are certain traits that all successful people have in common. And I bet the metrics and analytics would bear this out. And there are all kinds of books, you know, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, et cetera. There's a gazillion articles about it, you know, on the internet. And that's why when you look at them, and if you were to say that every successful person has 2 things in common, you should probably think about maybe doing those things. And what you talked about, and we talked about as far as the list and the vision and believing in yourself, it's all crucial. Otherwise, I mean, I've got a guy that worked for me, that's worked for me for 20 years, tremendously talented, tremendously skilled. He's a cabinet maker and, you know, a carpenter by trade, but is phenomenally talented. But he brought up he reminded me of a saying that I heard, and I may have said it on last week's Zoom. I think I did, about the people that are living day to day, the people that live in, you know, week to week, month to month, year to year. The really successful people deal with things in generations. Highly successful people deal with, you know, decades. It's the people that literally live from week to week or month to month and don't do anything about it, but then want to bemoan their fate. Again, as if I use the example, as like nobody's going to mail you a certificate that says you're a doctor. You know, it's like you have to be able to do this. And I'm old enough now in my life to know the cause and effect. If you keep putting things off, you're going to wake up in 20 years and be in the same place you were 20 years ago. It's crucial. Kelly, thank you for jumping in and sharing that. Anyone else?
I think too, just following with what I said at the beginning of the day, same thing follows for the end of the day. You know, when you're laying down in bed and you're going to sleep, you know, think to yourself, you know, you don't have to say it out loud or tell your partner or whoever, but did I go out of my way to do something nice for somebody today? Did I open the door? Did I let somebody in traffic? Did I say thank you? Did I say please? All those things are going to basically become the aura of who you are. And that is going to determine what you're successful at and what you fail at. I mean, it's kind of common sense.
Absolutely. And it's karma. And I mean, when you get,
if you can't answer that question, did I do something nice for somebody today? I have a problem with that personally.
Now there
I'm
are
like,
some
okay,
people,
bad.
There are some people that literally, that's not their nature. They're either shy or timid, or they walk around consumed with worry and fear with their head down. So I think some of the people where that's not their nature, Kelly, they need to be, I think, introduced to some skills. You're talking about writing down things that helps you with those skills. It reminds you of what your day is going to be like before
Correct.
it even happens.
Even if they're doing it just privately, it's not something that they have to share with somebody.
Correct.
You know, if they're shy and they want to keep those things I have a gratitude book that I write in every single day. And before I go to bed, I always ask myself that simple question. And even if it isn't something that I personally interact with somebody, you know, I want to get through this red light, but I know this person really wants to turn. I guess we'll be nice and let them go. It's as simple as the thing as that.
Right.
You got to start somewhere before you can, you know, you got to crawl before you can walk, and then you got to walk before you can run, and so on.
Yeah, I use the example. It's like one of the best acting performances I've ever seen is somebody who's on an elevator and pretends to be holding the door for you. As you get closer and closer, they give you that hands up, like, I don't know where the open door button is. Anyway, we've got some people jumping off here. Kelly, thank you so much. I mean, I think that's all, you know, great stuff, and thank you for sharing. We've got some giveaways here, and I hope we didn't lose anybody, and I think we may have. First of all, the winner. We've got a T-shirt tonight, and we have a relief cream. That's a full-size relief cream, by the way. It's also a full-size T-shirt, so it fits adults. The winner of the T-shirt is Kelly. Now, is that, I don't know from the home office at the Price Waterhouse whether that was Kelly. It was just told to make sure you enter your last name. Is that Kelly who was just speaking?
Yeah, that's the only
I am-
Kelly on here.
Kelly
Yeah.
Biffle.
Congrats, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelly Biffle, is that it?
Correct.
Okay, well, you're the winner of the T-shirt.
Thank you.
That's
I
really
appreciate it.
weird. Absolutely, yeah. And you need to type into the chat bar what size you are, so that we can get the right size
Okay.
as soon as possible. And the winner of the relief cream, and I think I may have just seen something that she just left, is Jacqueline Goddard. Is Jacqueline still here? I think she was on for just a few seconds ago and got off. So I'll wait for instruction from the Price Waterhouse main office, and they can tell me whether we're going to redraw or they're going to honor the fact that she was here for most of the content. Whoops! I just received a new winner's name, so apparently we're not going to wait.
It's tough out here, bud.
Jenny's going to let us know. Okay, we'll see what we can do about the relief cream. I think I got another name for a winner of a relief cream, and that's Heather Yates. Is Heather still with us?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we'll probably contact, and you know the rule is you have to be here till the end, but I think they were on just, I know that Jacqueline just signed off a few minutes ago, and she was here for all the content. Yes, Jenny, let her know, let Jacqueline know that she's the winner of the relief cream tonight, and we'll make plans to get that to her. We'll need to know what size she wears. Awesome. Guys, hey, once again, thanks very much. Listen, put yourself motivation. You're writing down your goals. Are you writing down your whys, et cetera, et cetera. Let's figure out again, and I'm going to remind everybody of this every single week, myself included. I don't know if you all know, but sometimes I go into the office on Wednesdays, I'm like, man, I realize that I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to anybody else. And it's true. I get things out of articulating things. So have a great week. And tomorrow night, don't forget that I just saw a note about the product Zoom. Do we know what the product of the week is, or what product is going to be featured tomorrow night? I mean, I'll wait to see if anybody chimes in with that.
Tomorrow night's star of the show is going to be Revive Cream.
Revive.
Oh yeah, don't miss it.
My favorite product actually. Well, besides the tincture. So, all right, kids. Thanks very much. Have a great week. Stay tapped in. Reach out if you have any questions. We're working our hardest to get these things to you as soon as possible. Think positive. Make it happen. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.